Okay, let's do this. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Ashland Leather Workshop. I'm sorry I missed you a couple days last week. I was actually super sick again, which was awful. I can't remember the last time I've been sick like this consecutively, even like 2 in a row. And this time it was sort of like 3 in a row with a couple days off in between. But I'm back and I'm feeling good. We got a ton of leather to look at. Look in the bottom corner. That's everything on the table behind me. And I've got them sort of color coded, sort of grouped everything that was ordered by color. So you can see there's most English tan there. All right, let's see who's in the chat. Oh, it's so far away. Hold on. A little closer. All right. Mark's here. Dia's here. Mr. Chop Top. Joseph. Good morning, guys. Alnader. Good morning. Chase. Sager. Wes. Aftab. Waiting so long for the live videos. I'm sorry, buddy. Sherman's here. Good morning. B-Fat, my fellow Ash Hat. Love it. Morning, Alti. The text is so small when it's that far away. Maybe I need some glasses. Hi, Jesse and CW. All right, well, today I'm going to show you some of the stuff that was ordered over the weekend. There's a lot of great things. A good smattering, you could say. A smattering of different wallets, different leathers, and different colors. This is a great opportunity for me to show things that we don't normally feature on fancy 4K footage videos for YouTube. These are sort of the things that we try to keep in stock all the time, which sometimes get overlooked, but they're super beautiful. So I like seeing these, and when you get to look at a bunch of pieces of English tan doubling back to back, you can see that natural beauty because each piece is just a little bit different, which I think is what makes it special. So as I flip the camera around here, 2 things to keep in mind. Number one, I won't be able to see what you're chatting about, but if you want to leave a question, I'll come back and read through the comments or questions in the live chat here and chat you up after this. And then the second thing is everything that I've pulled is not necessarily completed, so we still need to polish the edges and finish up polishing on the shells or polishing on the grain. So with that said, let's flip it around and drink some coffee. All right, let's go. I'm back. Okay. Will this work? This way? I got to dance because I got all these cables. All right. Yeah, I was like sleep. I had to sleep for so many days because I was so sick. It was terrible, man. Okay, we got a couple piles here. So these are the natural shell. I've got a couple of the new Royal Blue Cypress. This is all the English tan. We've got some black and then color 8, and then we have a few belts and some leather polishes to look at. I guess let's start with natural shell Cordovan because if you read the title, this is for leather nerds. Natural shell Cordovan Fat Herbie here. I think this is the last one that we have available, but anything that you see here that you want, we can make again. So if something's sold out on the site that you really are looking forward to having, just send us an email to info@ashlandleather.com. We can have one made to order for you. So people love the natural shell Cordovan Herbie here because of the patina that accumulates on it. So you can see it starts off this nice, light, sort of sandy color. It does have a little bit of a color directionality to it. It's very beautiful. But as you wear it, the color develops and gets a little bit more golden brown, which is very beautiful and becomes much darker as well. We also have a vertical Bugs Moran here, also in the natural shell Cordovan. It's one of our more simple minimalist designs. A couple more natural shell Herbies. I think this is why they're sold out. Super beautiful leather. This one has an ink stamp in the center. Here's another one. And then the other thing about the patina is any veg tan leather tends to want to develop and accumulate luster in addition to that color darkening. The luster tends to become layered. So I've observed that the surface luster starts to develop brighter in addition to like this luster that's underneath. It's almost like an internal glow of the shell. So here's a really, take a look. I'm like at a loss for words. This is the Royal Blue Cypress on a vertical cardslot Bugs Moran. This is one of the most recent leathers that Horween Leather has ever made. And what's beautiful about it is it was developed for our use. We asked them to make this product for us, and that's how this new leather cypress has come about. It's really tough and wears in very, very nicely, but it also allows us to get some brighter colors on it, as opposed to something like the Dublin. You can sort of only get like clean looking earth tones. You don't really get like a nice bright shade like this. And then this particular piece has some really interesting striations on the outside that we cannot prescribe. You can't ask for the leather to look this way. And oftentimes the cypress leather is a lot more flat looking than that piece there. That one's very dramatic for the amount of figuring in the grain. So here's a fat Herbie, also in that royal blue cypress. Here's my Herbie in the royal blue cypress. You can see how this one has developed. It's actually much brighter and shinier and almost more filled in looking, but I have not applied any polish to this guy. This is sort of what you see is what you get. I haven't even brushed the thing. All right, so here's what it looks like brand new. Got one of these going out today. And then the last royal blue cypress piece is a Frank the Enforcer here. And I think I'm actually kind of surprised. I don't know. Maybe it's because a lot of the different styles of this wallet are currently sold out. We're trying to restock all of them, but like the Johnny the Fox, I think is one of our best looking wallets. I mean, it's gone right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if this blue cypress pile was as large as the English tan Dublin pile there someday. I was just a little bit surprised that we didn't have more blue over the weekend. All right, we got some leather polishes going out today. One of each of them, actually. We have 3 different leather care products that we sell. This is Saphir Cordovan cream. I suggest this for Shell Cordovan. That's what we use on every wallet. Also have some Horween Venetian shoe cream. A couple of these bottles going out today. This is the product that Horween uses to polish their Shell Cordovan for every piece of leather that they ship out. I actually really like this product on Shell also, but I use it on Chrome Excel footwear. I think that's a really good polish to give you sort of like a mild luster, but not like a crazy mirror shine. Got like a little bit more of a natural look to it. And then this is our Tanner's Blend Conditioner. This is a great product for nourishing and restoring the look and feel of your leather. And I think that one pairs very, very well with Chrome Excel from Horween in particular. All right, we've got a Chicago comb. That's a carbon fiber comb. This is 2 scale. And our English tan Dublin leather sheaths fit over the comb like that. Got one of those going out today. We're on the English tan pile here. Let's keep it going. There's a lot of foxes in here too. Let's start with the small zip. This is a beautiful piece of English tan Dublin. We have black horsehide latigo on the interior. Still need to trim the threads on this guy. And this is a Riri zipper, which is silky, silky smooth. It's actually just like really fun to slide this guy around. So I've got a small zip going out today. What else do we have? Here is a good example for me to show you how the edges look like before we work on them. This is the Bugs Moran wallet in English tan Dublin, and we have not worked on the edges. So if you look at let me find another Bugs. If you look at the difference on the edges here, you can really see the amount of work that we put into the edge work. So we bevel them down, sand it down, make everything flat and even. And then we apply a slight amount of color to the English tan Dublin and some wax, and then do a lot of hand working to get this very smooth and evening, like consistent, clean look. So we have a vertical Bugs Moran going out today, as well as the traditional Bugs Moran there. Here's a Tony the Ant that's actually a little bit longer. I saw somebody asking for to see the difference here between in the dimensions of the Tony the Ant compared to the Bugs. So the Bugs Moran's actually a little bit shorter. See, as I stack it on top there, we designed the Tony the Ant to be a slight amount longer to more easily accommodate cash in the exterior bill slot here. We originally had it the same size as the Bugs, but we just found that the cash was a little bit difficult to get in and out of. And on the inside, we have more of the same card holders, also in English tan Dublin. Really nice waxed and burnished edge there. They do add a little bit of color. And we've got some foxes. I think we're actually sold on these Herbies too, which is wild. English tan Dublin, Johnny the Fox, our most popular wallet style. And I should have checked to see if you guys can hear me. It looks like everything's working. We'll see. I'm wasting my breath if not. So we got Johnny the Fox, English tan Dublin, really beautiful orangey tan shade. Got the same edges on the outside here. Very beautiful look. We actually still need to polish that one up, which so it would get even nicer. Got a fat Herbie with some great striations and figuring in the grain of this guy. I love the Fat Herbie, and I love that people are picking them up. It's my favorite wallet style because I wear my wallet in the back pocket. I've got a vertical Bugs Moran here, another one. A little bit more consistent in texture on that. Sometimes we see more of the striations on the larger pattern pieces. So here's another Fat Herbie that's a little bit of a flatter character on the grain. Still got some exceptional natural variance to it, but doesn't have those deep sort of striations in the figuring that first Herbie had. Here's another Herbie. It's good to see like a nice range of stuff. Still need to work on the edges of that guy a little bit. And then we've got a Capone. I think we have a couple Capones. English Chan Dublin Capone Money Clip. I've had a couple people ask why the tension of their spring bar is not working out. If you slide this guy out, there are two parts to this piece of hardware that screw together. And if they're not screwed together all the way, their two parts will actually appear flush when they're completely tightened. That's how you get the tension to be tighter. All right, here's another Johnny the Fox here with some crazy looking grain character. And then more on the inside. You'll notice too, with all those layers of leather, this leather that we choose for the interiors have to be made specifically thin for us. So the thickness of this piece is much, much thinner than that. It's roughly half the thickness of the leather we use on the outside. And that's just, I think it gives it the perfect heft, perfect amount of body, just feels correct. Another Johnny the Fox here, also in the English Chan Dublin. Another Bugs Moran, still need to work on the edges of this guy too. We've been trying to do these in batches to be a little bit more efficient, to get you stuff more quickly. So that's why you'll see a whole batch of like English Chan Capones look complete, for example, or the whole batch of Bugs do not, because we try to do them all together in groups. And two more Foxes that we can skim through. Side by side here, you can see the natural variance in the Foxes here, which is great. They're very, very beautiful. And I should say, maybe I'll slide it in here, because we do have some of the irregulars. All right, check out this bin here. Surprising, we did sell a lot of the irregulars here of this darker English Tan Dublin. And there's a little bit of a variance to the color here, so it's sort of, you get what you're gonna get. But these are much darker than our prescribed English Tan Dublin color. You can see the difference there. We do have a few of these, you can see in the bin there. We do have a few of the irregular Johnny the Foxes in dark English Tan Dublin available. And there's really nothing wrong with the construction or the leather on these other than the color. So it's actually a pretty decent deal. If you wanted to try out a Fox and you like Dublin, I think it's a pretty sweet deal. What do you say we look at some belts quickly, because there's some nice, you might see when I flip the camera back around, we're working on belt restock. So we have a lot of really nice looking belts that are now available again. So this one is natural Chrome XL, and we're going to make it into a size 38. You can see this very beautiful, thick, unlined belt. And we actually finish the back sides of the belt with a little bit of a resin finish to give it a little bit more of a clean, refined look. But it also gives it a little bit more body. And I find it to wear in a little bit better than sort of like a suede back. So natural Chrome XL, this is great if you want to pair it to match some natural Chrome XL boots or natural Chrome XL shoes. Got this one going out today in size 38. Here's the one that is really beautiful to me. This is the one that I wear when I'm not wearing my new Color 4 shell belt, which, by the way, I think all of our Color 4 shell belts will be shipping this week. We got English Tan Dublin on this belt here, and this one is a size 34. This is how we stamp the sizes. If I unravel it here, you can take a look at the adjustment holes. And then there's really beautiful teardrop shape, which is different than most belts that are more circular in nature. So I actually always liked very simple, like don't do anything. It's a belt, just leave it simple and neat. But I wanted to give it a little bit of extra flair, and I always liked the look of these teardrop holes. So I started to do them ourselves. We had a little custom tool made for us. All right, we got a really nice looking piece of Chrome XL here. This is color number 8 Chrome XL. And I always say this, you can almost see how it feels. It's just super, super waxy and oily. This is a great piece of color right here, size 34. Same teardrop shape holes on this guy. And classically, a lot of people would choose a burgundy color like the Color 8 for a belt because it pairs nicely with, traditionally it pairs nicely with brown footwear or black footwear. It's kind of interesting. We got a 34-inch black Chrome Excel belt going out today also. And the black that we use, in fact, most of the black leather from Horween is what people call T-core. So there's a different color on the surface as opposed to the color of the tannage underneath. You can see the lighter cross section here with the darker on the top. Let's compare this black here. This is a black that's gonna be size 36. And when I pulled this piece of Chrome Excel, I was just really stunned. But let's compare the navy on the right with the black on the left. And this navy Chrome Excel is super, super nice. You can really see the color difference. It's like a darker aqua blue. So I actually think like navy might be a misnomer. But this is like a really, really nice piece of Chrome Excel. Something magical about this guy. It's just like a little bit extra dense, which is great. And then again, the color. So if you look at how, it might be hard to show in the light here. The color where it flexes is much lighter than the color on the surface. So it's got this really nice depth of color. All the Chrome Excel, with the exception of black, has a really nice depth of color. It's what we call a pull-up effect. And then we got two more colors to look at. The next one is going to be black, which we have two different blacks. We have black shell Cordovan here, as well as black Dublin. This is a Capone money clip and really nice black shell Cordovan. We are now doing hand stained edges on all the black shell and Color 8 shell Cordovan items. You can see all the edges have this nice matching hand staining that match the color of the shell perfectly. And then we do a little bit of waxing and burnishing. And I think it really gives everything like a really refined and clean look. We also have Johnny the Fox here in that Dublin. We do a little bit of color on the edges, but it's not the same process as the shell, but pretty similar results. But in the Dublin black, I think this is the most interesting black leather around because it has actual character to it. A lot of black leathers that you see tend to look really fake. And they don't really look like leather. It might as well be plastic. But you can see here, all that grain character, very, very fine and really, really nice. See all those little bitty, let me try to get it to focus here. All those little bitty hair holes, that's the grain. And sometimes we see some of those bits of figuring and striations in the grain of the Dublin that make it more interesting. And if you go to a big box store, a lot of black leathers that you see will look very heavily finished. They'll start to look more like paint. So we got one more fox here, a little bit more character on this guy. And then interiors, these are actually horsehide latigo. And we were choosing that. We've been doing this for years because it's very, very strong and thin. It's almost like ideal for a wallet liner or a wallet interior, but they're tough to click. They're tough to cut the patterns out on because the selections are very, very poor. There's a lot of scars and scratching. All right, we got another black shell Cordovan piece here. This is our lighter and lighter sheath in the black shell Cordovan. I think we have a couple of those too. And on to the last color, color number 8, the classic shell Cordovan color. It's a really nice dark brown and burgundy shade. Some people call it oxblood. For me, like people also call this color Cordovan, which is kind of funny. You can see we have the hand stained edge applied here, but this one has not yet been waxed and burnished. So you can see the difference of what our process does here. See all the waxing and burnishing, it really fills in all the layers of leather there and gives it like a bright, shiny look, very, very clean and refined. What's special about this is it's actually the same exact stain that Horween uses to finish the color on the shell. So it should give a perfect match of color. And I think it just really, really cleans up the look of a wallet. So we got a Fat Herbie. In addition to that Frank, we have another special wallet here. These are magical for me to see because it's rare to be able to make them. This is a 100% color number 8 shell Cordovan, Johnny the Fox. We have the color 8 hand stained edges, color 8 shell Cordovan on the interior. And that's where it gets special because all those layers of leather are super tough to get the correct thickness on the Cordovan. So we have to be extra patient and select and sort through takes a long time to be able to make those just to get the leather. All right, Capone money clip, also in the color HL, beautiful edges, really nicely done, ink stamp on the inside. And the last is another Herbie in color HL Cordovan, my favorite wallet style. Love this guy. It's really easy to use the bill slot in the back. You can actually open it up with one hand. Can I do this? I wonder if you can see me on camera as I open that. So you can open it with one hand, or I can go on this camera and open it. Man, multicam's fun. All right, the Horween ink stamp on the center, beautiful edges, great stuff. I'm gonna flip it back over, see what you guys are chatting about. If you got any questions, hit me up, come at me. I would be happy to talk to you. We did it. Oh, Russ Bucket saw his lighter. Nice. I think, honestly, we had a couple lighters ordered today. I didn't pull all of them, but I tried to get like one of everything to represent it. You notice like when I pull all the foxes that are English tan, sometimes it gets a little bit boring to just see the same wallet over and over. But in this example, I pulled them because I wanted to show how all the different pieces can be random. Like every piece of leather that we use is very naturally finished, so they don't look the same. Like every piece is like a little treasure. All right. Waiting for the Capone Fox sometime this month. I think we do have that on schedule, Brad. But things happen, like me getting sick for a few days put us a little bit behind the ball, which stinks. I am still hoping to get that going. Honestly, Wes, sorry, I'm looking at the end of the chat here. I should go back up. I don't know what we have planned for April. It's on the calendar on the wall, but there's this big shelf between me and the calendar. I'm focused on what I have to do today, which is still a lot. Like get my team paid, I got to run payroll and pay bills and all that stuff too. We actually, something that is coming up. I think people that were looking for Apple Watch bands, we're starting to restock them. So I think these are all spoken for, but I've got some natural shell Cordovan Apple Watch bands. And I should have mentioned too, I put on an irregular natural Chrome XL strap because I wanted to switch up my watch band style. So this is like a messed up strap. But it turned out it's like really beautiful, even despite being an irregular. There's something about the natural Chrome XL here with the black Apple Watch band. Maybe it's because I was wearing black for so long, but I'm really digging like how this is looking and feeling. And it's much thicker. I think it's maybe what I'm sensing. The thickness that we choose for our Chrome XL straps is 6 ounce thickness, which I think is perfect. I think the heavier belt weight stuff we've done in the past is like a little too chunky. And then the stuff that we do that's a little lighter, like 4 or 5 ounces, just like a tiny bit too thin. So I think we found the perfect thickness for our non-shell Apple Watch bands. But we do have, we're working on a restock of natural, all the colors. Just been busy, all right. Ash Fans is a good name, PRP2. Doug Castellan's here. Good morning, Gug. There's your lighter. Yep, Sherman. Any chance for the full grain podcast this week? Sorry, Sherman, no. This will be the second week in a row, and I don't even know if we'll be able to do one this week. So, long story short, we've been trying to do an episode every week. We try to launch them on Mondays. The last episode we did was with Maverick, and even in that episode, you could see I was we filmed them on the same day. So the one with Maverick and the one with George Vlagos from Oak Street, I was actually I was starting to feel sick. And just after that, I got sick. And just after that, Nick got sick. And just after that, I got sick again. And then last week, Nick's going through some, he's trying to sell his home. So he was unavailable. And then like the end of last week, I was sick. So it's hard it's hard. It's been tough to get time together. And he and I talk just about every day. Like, oh, when are we going to do the next episode? We're trying to do it in the evening. We don't know what's going to happen, but you can expect it to not happen at the very earliest next week, maybe even another week from that. But right now, like, I don't even know when we're going to record the next one, and I don't know when that would be released either. And I was thinking about going on there to do a live stream on the Full Grain Podcast YouTube channel and see if people actually tune in there. Do you guys take your back pocket wallet out when driving? I don't. Sometimes, if I'm going on a long drive, I will. When's my next private stock? I think we're doing one this week. Watchman for Jesus, which is an amazing name. I think we're planning to do one this week. I know I've seen some private stock stuff floating around the shop here. It's pretty sweet looking. You'll notice also, like, we're sold out on our normal stuff. So this last week we didn't do any big events other than the irregular foxes because we are trying to focus up a restock. And even spending all week doing that, we sort of like barely hit a dent, which is a good problem to have because people are supporting us. Super thankful. So there is an effort here to like satisfy people that are interested in the stuff we're already doing, in addition to like satisfying new people that are just coming into it. So trying to find a balance here between doing crazy private stock and doing stuff like we did today has been pretty challenging. Like the team is working super hard here and they're so creative and so talented. I don't want to just add people for the sake of making more product. I want to do it right. So if we were to add people and make more stuff, it would just take a bit of time to train people up and get really good. So it's not like flipping a light switch to make this stuff here. If one person can make 10 wallets a day, you just looked at, somebody's full week of work just making the stuff that we're shipping today. So it's a lot. Full Cypress small zip, any chance? Yes, a chance. We're trying to rethink the small zip. It's so hard to craft those. Here's a little preview. I don't love this. We're working on like a version. Ignore these gussets, but imagine this small zip had no gusset section at all. So it'd just be like 2 cards on this side and then 2 cards on the other side that just zips closed. Super simple. I think we're going to move towards like a minimalist small zip. Which might be exactly as I just described, because making is a really difficult wallet. It's the hardest thing we make. And, there's other things that are difficult that we do, but the small zip's really challenging. So we've been you'll notice that we don't do a lot of offerings on it. But a full Cypress small zip would be super, especially in that blue. Oh my God. We could do that because we have we buy all the different thicknesses with the exception of belt weight on the Cypress. So we'd be able to pair the normal 4-ounce wallet weight stuff we do on the exterior of the small zip with the thin stuff we buy for the interior. So we could do a matching blue. I think we have the brown Cypress too, so we could do a full matching brown. That would be sweet. But I don't know if I can promise that just yet, Sherman. By the way, great to see you, Sherman. Hope you're doing well. Aftab, hey, Phil, have you seen my Johnny the Fox with different shell colors? I don't know if I've seen that, Aftab. I'm sorry. Mark says, does Dublin show so much character why does it? There's a couple of reasons. I'd say the biggest reason is it's not heavily finished. There's like a very natural finish to it, a stain as opposed to a pigment. So you see right through and you can see every bit of grain character. Now it's also vegetable tanned and it's got a nice, I think a lot of it has to do with the tannage, which is tanned like shell Cordovan. So again, like very, very natural, very, very traditional, very like artisan, like old world sort of tanning method. So it tends to have like a little bit more character. But I think the biggest thing is like we're not covering up any of that character with paint, which I think is what you're seeing there. Wish you could use an Apple Watch. I think some Galaxy watches. Yeah. So here's a 20 millimeter watch strap also. We have non-Apple Watch straps also, in addition to the Apple Watch ones, in different, what's called a lug width. So the distance between the leather here is called the lug width, and that fits between the lugs of the watch. So if you have, I'm not super familiar with the Galaxy watches, but if there's an adapter that fits onto the watch that you can pull out a spring bar, if you can measure that distance and it's between the distance of 17 to 24 millimeters, we can probably make you a strap for your Galaxy watch. But I don't don't recall too much about fitting to that size. Any runs of Color 8 Foxes with natural horsehide coming up? Micarta, that would have to be made to order, and we can do that for you. You just send my brother Matt an email to info@ashlandleather.com, and he can get that made for you. A Color 8 Fox with natural horsehide. We probably have to do natural latigo. Nicholas, you've been following this stuff for a little while. Would you please tell us about the stamps? Is that something that you add as you're making them, or do you ask Horween? So I think you might be talking about the Horween ink stamp. So this ink stamp in the center of the wallet there, we've cut purposefully to appear in that spot because a lot of people have been asking for it. So we started making it that way and trying to be consistent. It's tough. It's tough to make any natural leather, especially like a piece of shell Cordovan that's very small. It's tough to make the same thing look like exactly the same twice. This ink stamp is applied at the tannery at the measuring stage. It's like the last stage of the process. Right before it goes in a box, they measure the area of the skin, and then they stamp it with the Horween ink stamp. Here is what we call it. Hey, Matt. Speaking of Matt, Matt's right there. Send him an email for that fox you want. This ink stamp gets stamped on the shells. So we actually buy a lot of shell, especially smaller pieces of leather from the tannery. That's how we have like a nice working relationship with Horween. So because we're buying so many pieces of shell, and again, they're not the huge ones, they're more like sized. Sometimes they're like maybe a little bit more narrow, so not appropriate for like a boot or a shoe. Skip Horween works with us, and we try to take those off his hands. He thinks it's a favor to him. We think it's a favor to us. So it's a great relationship. But because we're buying so many pieces of shells, we're able to cut these there. So each shell gets stamped from the tannery at the measuring stage. Leave it in the tray there. That's a good question. And good to see you, Nicholas. Thanks for stopping by. Could you make a sheath for a traditional pocket knife, but one with a clip? Yeah, we could. We're sort of like not, I hate answering this way, and I'm sorry. The answer is going to be no, but I'd like you to know the reason why, because I want to do it. We've grown to a place here where I can't accommodate the custom shop, like full custom like that, because I can't charge you enough money to make it worth the time for us, to pay everybody here. So unfortunately, I could do it for you, but you're not going to want to pay the money I have to charge you. So I'm just going to tell you no. But there are a lot of people that will do little custom projects like that. We have done a sheath in the past that's like a small little pouch. It's just like two pieces of leather sewn together, but there's no clip on it. That's the closest that we got. PRP2 says some YouTube reviewer was talking smack about that stamp too. Spreading rumors got me upset. Who was talking about that? I'd be curious to see that. But that's Horween puts the stamps on the shell. Very cool. Thank you. Can you please tell me how much does one piece of shell Cordovan cost? It depends on the area of the shell. Some of them, I don't know. There's some that are like $400, and like the cheapest is still like it's gonna be a tough answer, but what's the math? It's like $100 a square foot, we could say. I think the prices are going up. They may have gone up, so maybe more than 100 a foot now. So it's roughly, the good rule of thumb is it's roughly 10 times the price of like a normal nice leather, another nice leather that's not shell. It's very, very expensive. Yeah, whoever, I've made videos there showing how the stamp gets applied to the shell. So you can, wouldn't know which one. It might be one of the most recent ones where I like went to the tannery. It might have been for the shell belts. I forget where I did that, but I filmed them putting the stamp on there. They could check it out. All right, cool. There's nothing to defend. Thanks, PRP2. Well, thanks for being here, everybody else. Oh, I forgot to thank everybody. Let me pull up this, my list of people to thank. So if you hear your name here, you probably just saw your wallet. So if you ordered over the weekend or this morning, you probably saw your wallet in the video here, and your name's coming up. Thank you so much to Kohei, Robert M, David K, Shane B, Jared T, Benjamin S, Leonard E, Wayne H, Denzel T, Bill W, David K, Connor M, Michael F, James A, Benjamin C, Brian M, Thomas H, Nikki S, Aaron K, Joshua D, Noel F, Remington L, Cody C, Duncan S, Joel P, Brian C, Justin V, Christopher F, Mitch M, Christopher M, Craig A, Justin C, Alex C, William C, Susan S, Wei Q, Tom G, Brian R. Is that my friend? No, that's somebody with the same name. Jun Min L, Michael D, John N, Cameron K, Matthew C, Helen. I'm gonna keep going here. Fernando V, Paul H, Michael L, Michael S, Mikhail S, Clark B, and Benjamin S. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you guys. And hopefully you got a little preview of your wallet. We're going to work on those today and send them off. And I'll try to be back again